there's a friend of mine that had a Roth solo 401k, and she actually put $3,600 into it 3 years ago, and I was able to help her grow it to $95,000.
Wow. I'm here with Al. We are at an incredible conference, the Pete Fortunato Basic Paper Course, which it's my first time attending Pete's class, and I'm already blown away. It's my first day. I can already just go home, and just with the amount of stuff that I've learned, I already got my money's worth. So anyways, I'm here with Al, a good friend that we've known over the last couple of years. Want to get a chance for you guys to hear his story and kind of what he's done in real estate, and maybe talk about some of the things that he's learned over the years and why it's so important to come to these classes. So first of all, Al, thanks for making the time, and
Yeah.
how are you doing?
Everything's great. I love being at Pete's class. You always learn something new, and then the mindset is just life-changing. So
Yeah.
it's really great. And I didn't know it was your first class.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So the first time I met Pete was at actually Gary Johnson's class.
Okay.
And I was actually supposed to go a couple years ago, but my son's birthday is always the first week of December, and his schedule's kind of messed up. But this time I said, okay, I can't miss it. I will definitely want to come. So, Al, let's talk a little bit about your background, how you got started in real estate, and
Oh man. So if I have to give you the short version, I had a friend of mine who had 30 Section 8 rentals, and I was marveled by it and the glamour of it, as crazy as that may sound. But I was amazed at it, and I was like, I want to do that.
Right.
So it just hit me. And then it took me about a year and a half to actually have the guts to go buy my first house.
Okay.
But then once I did, then I was able to get a couple more, and then I bought from the same mentor. I actually got about 15 properties. But then back then it was actually 2007.
Wow.
So everything became underwater for the next 6-7 years after that. But that's okay, because I structured it so that I had cash flow on every property. And it was a lot of Section 8 properties. So I was able to pay my mortgages and be okay. Everything was fine. I weathered the storm wonderfully compared to a lot of other people, unfortunately. But that led me with a lot of experience doing that.
I was about to say, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had been around for that long.
Yeah.
In real estate.
Yeah, I've been in real estate for over 20 years.
Wow. So what would you say some things that you learned during that time that maybe helped you out, or are potentially going to help out some people right now that are kind of starting to weather a storm that's kind of brewing in the real estate market right now?
Well, there's something that even Pete talks about a lot, and that's allies. And if you don't have a good network of people that you can rely on and trust and go to for problems, that is essential in this business. It really is essential in this business, because if you don't have that in place, then you're going to have an issue where something comes up and you're not going to know what to do. And then you can go into your own bubble sometimes and freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have the other people in place, and that helps a lot.
You know what? It's funny you're saying that, because sitting here in today's class, just something for whatever reason came to mind, and I said, you know what? For whatever reason, sometimes it's a lot easier to solve other people's problems than just try to solve your own.
100%.
You get caught up in your own head,
Yes.
and just having the conversation of kind of what you're going through and having those allies are so big.
Yes. Yeah. When people come to me with their issues, I'm able to see it clearly. I know exactly what they have to do. But if I'm in the same situation, it does not come out the same.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how that is.
So, what are some things that you're doing right now? I know, over the last, 5-10 years, you've started to learn a lot of really creative things and things that, you wouldn't have done maybe when you first got started. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about maybe one of your most exciting deals that you've done over the last year and a half?
Exciting deals.
Or challenging deals, right? For that matter.
Well, it's interesting. Right now, I'm doing a lot of lending. I've been doing lending in the private space for about over 10 years, actually. And I work with IRAs, 401ks, personal cash. It doesn't matter. I'm able to help people make money, and that's really what my goal is for people. And I started doing some flips over the past few years, and some were great, and others were horrible. But I've realized during that time that that's not my specialty.
Yeah.
My strength is actually understanding the structure of a deal and the financing behind it. So therefore, I'm not doing any of those type of things anymore, construction-wise or anything like that. I even did new construction lately.
Oh, wow.
That's something I did.
Yeah.
But it didn't turn out as the way I expected it to. So I am actually looking to do a lot more of that lending, and I'm just expanding on that because I know that that's my strength.
Yeah. So would you say that you kind of help people, for example, set up an IRA if they don't have it? Or what are some of those first basic steps that you encourage people that say, hey, you know what? I got a little bit of capital somewhere. What are some of those first steps that you maybe encourage somebody that if they want to get started?
So no matter what you do, whether you're in real estate or whether you just wanted to kind of get involved a little bit passively, doing something in a Roth IRA is so important. So if you don't have one, go set one up right now. Just even if it's only $1,000, just put money in there. I can't stress that enough, because when you do that and you're able to start building that, you're able to, especially if in a self-directed space, you're able to lend that out to other people and receive passive money. And you're able to structure growth with that, with options and all kinds of different placements. And all that money can come in, and then you're building it a nest egg for yourself that's tax-free when you take it out. I mean, that's
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah.
You know, because you're paying so much more money in taxes. So that is such an important vehicle. I can't stress enough.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Gary Johnson talks about in his class is, the funny thing about taxes is it's one of the biggest expense you're ever going to have in your lifetime, yet people spend no money or no resources trying to educate themselves on how to not pay taxes, right? And there's a huge difference if, let's say that you start with $10,000 and you're able to grow that over the next 25, 30 years tax-free versus having to pay taxes every single time you do a deal. I mean, it's night and day, right?
Yeah, it really is. And there are a lot of rules that you have to know and pay attention to. And I've trained myself for 10 years doing this stuff, and I feel very versed in that. In fact, I'm creating a course. I didn't tell you that, but it's a creative self-directed IRA course, just so that people know what they can invest in, what the pitfalls are, the rules that are in place, because if you know the rules, you know exactly what you can do and can't do properly to grow it. And so I'll give you an example.
From 3,600.
From 3,600, she made no other contributions.
Wow. Let's talk about maybe some of those deals that she invested in that helped her.
Yeah. Well, just to give you a little preview of that, because I talk about it in my course, but I did option deals.
Yeah.
I did a flip in there, because you're able to do leveraged real estate inside a solo 401k without paying UBIT tax, which is 37%, I believe now. So there's all those type of things, and then wrap loans. I have a couple of wrap loans that are going that's constantly doing that. So all those type of things just made it explode over the years.
Let's break down real quickly for people that may not know what is an option and what is the power of an option within a self-directed IRA.
Sure. So you can do it whether it's personal cash or an IRA, but the option is really you have the right but not the obligation to purchase a property.
Say that I come across and somehow I find Al and I say, you know what, I may think about selling my house, but I don't want to do anything now. And the conversation for a lot of people are like, okay, maybe I'll reach out to that person in a couple years.
Yeah.
But a better thing to do is the option, right? So let's break that down a little bit. How would that work?
So for example, here's a great example. Somebody actually needs a new roof on their house. The water's coming in, but they don't have the money to afford that.
And they don't want to move.
And they don't want to move. That's their family home. Well, at that point, you can offer them, let's say the roof costs $10,000 to do. I will give you $10,000 now for the right to buy it in the next 20 years at a certain price. Let's say the market value is $200,000. I'll pay $200,000 for the next 20 years. Now I have the right to buy it at $200,000. But they get that $10,000 now, and they can enjoy their house for that time with the new roof. And that's gold to some people.
Right, and they don't have to make any payments. They don't have to get a loan.
No payments, no interest.
They don't have to worry about it. They just continue living in the home. 10, 15 years down the road, you may want to exercise that option. They may say, you know what, we're getting ready, we'd like to move, or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
And you have the right to exercise that option, and you decide to say, you know what, I got a lot of stuff going on. I may not want to exercise the right, but what you could do is you can come to somebody like me and says, you know what? You told me about that house on 123 Main Street. I'd like to buy it, right? And you have the option, and you sell me the option for, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Remember, that option is an asset.
Right.
Just the same as it would be an actual house.
Right.
Because it has value.
Yeah.
So as it goes up from value from 200,000 to 250 or something, well, now that option is technically worth $50,000.
Yeah.
So that has value. So you might want to do that. You can trade that for something else.
Yeah.
And just using that as currency is huge.
The other thing is, if you wanted to, obviously you can buy that property 15 years down the road where potentially that property might appreciate it and might be $350,000, $400,000 in that neighborhood, and you're able to buy that property for $150,000 because you paid for that option
Exactly.
10, 15 years ago. So options are so powerful, and that's why being in these rooms and these classes are just so important. I know for sure you've invested a lot of resources, time coming to these classes, right? What would you say over the course of your career, how many trainings, events, what kind of investment have you made in your education?
I mean, I've taken every course that Pete Fortunato does. I've taken all of the courses that Dykes Botiford offered when he was alive. And I've went on real estate cruises with these people, and over time, I've done the real estate cruises for 10 years. Actually, Captains of the Deal is the name of it, and that has built so many different relationships and allies that it's priceless. And that's really, you're building the relationships, but you're also gaining the knowledge. And then when you have problems, you can always say, hey, let me give you a call real quick. And some people, they're very willing to help. People want to help other people.
Yeah. I think something where a lot of people sometimes may be short-sighted is they want to get started in business or real estate for that matter and say, you know what, I want to do my first few deals. And they always start looking at, what's in it for me? How can I generate money? Where even though that's important, sometimes it's better to start understanding how to do it the proper way with the right people, and being able to do a deal sometimes with someone where you're going to make a little bit of money is way more valuable than trying to do deals on your own.
Yes.
With not the right allies.
That's right. That's right. I will take a deal where you only make partial profit to it rather than make a killing on something.
Right.
Because not only am I'm saving some of my strength and energy in that deal from doing something else, but I'm also building a relationship with that person to do more deals. I mean, there are people that I have done deals with or lending or whatever where it started out with one little opportunity, and we do so many more different deals or opportunities come up over the next course of years to come. So, it's always better to work with other people.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I appreciate you spending some time, So where can people, learn from you, or, what market are you at? Anything that you suggest for people to kind of, keep an eye out for?
Sure. Yeah, I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, and all my socials are I am Al Digi, I am Al Digi, and it's a lot. You can always contact me on there. You can look at all the stuff there.
We'll make sure to put, all your details on the video description.
Yeah, and I'm, I just recommend this area for investing. Not so much investing in the area, but as much as the real estate education, because
Correct.
there are a lot of qualified, experienced people in this area. And so if there's classes that come up, I highly recommend you do that too.
Yeah, no, I mean, one thing that I've learned as well is, as far as, there's just a wide range of, education out there. There's $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 education classes with different, gurus and whatnot. Something that I've discovered and found out is a lot of the actual doers and people really, sharing a wealth of knowledge. A lot of those courses are, less than $1,000, less than $1,500 for that.
Well, how much is Pete's course right now?
Yeah,
that you're taking?
$500. Less than
$495.
$495. I mean,
and it's probably one of the more valuable classes you're going to get.
Yeah, I was just talking to some other investor that has been attending some of these courses over the years. He's like, oh my gosh, this is such a steal. I mean, I think we'd all agree that we'd all probably pay thousands of dollars just for this class. And 100%. It's just silly how undervalued. I mean, you're getting a stack of book with, it's just crazy. I mean, he could charge probably $20, $30, $40,000 for this class. It's so much value. I mean, I know from the first few hours, just from the morning, I can already go home and implement some of the things, and just some takeaways for me were just, really, I've heard it before, but sometimes you need to let it sit in and really understand it a little bit further, and it just clicks. Is people don't want cash, right? People think that they want cash. They just want what the cash is going to do for them. And if you really understand and dig a little bit deeper on what problem they're trying to solve, sometimes you can solve that a lot easier than the cash. And sometimes they think they want the cash, but when you help them understand taxes and so many other benefits, sometimes it's better for them to receive payments over time.
That's right.
And it's a win-win for everybody. So, I mean, there's just so much, knowledge in this room, and there's a lot of mentors. So, anyways, your course is coming out, and we'll keep an eye for it. Is that next couple months, or just 2026 sometime?
Early 2026, yes.
Okay. Appreciate it. Well, we'll catch you on the next one, and I'm sure we'll record a couple more videos.
Sounds good, man. All right.
All right.